Hey, so I'm back to my usual here. I guess I typically make 2 videos, it seems like, and then I put those out and then I don't do anything for at least a few weeks. And so what's happened is because I'm out of practice, that last video was sent out before I was able to add other things to it. So, eh, I'm not going to do it again. So I wanted to speak about being able to assist a young man from when he was doing his budget. I was walking by and I saw that he was writing out numbers. And, numbers always pique my interest. And I'm usually pretty observant, just in general. And so as I was going by, I was like, oh, making a budget there. Of course, I couldn't see the numbers, but he had like a little Excel spreadsheet that he had created, and he was writing down, and I saw a card and he was writing a number down as I was going by. And I said, hey, I'm pretty good with writing budgets if you need some help. And he immediately said, yes. And I was like, really? And he was like, yes, yes, yes. If you don't mind, he says, I have duty right now, but I get off around 10 o'clock. And I know that's late. I don't know if you're still going to be here. And I said, yeah, I'm still going to be here. I'll still be working at that time. Just come and get me and I will assist you. So around 10:15, 10:30, he comes over. He's like, are you off? Are you able to help me? And I say, yeah, I'm able to help you. And things like that, yes, I was off. But I waited because I feel like sometimes you only get this like one opportunity sometimes to really help that one person that's in need, and it can change their life, right? Your finances and how you handle it can literally change your life. So I went over there. I was all excited. I had my laptop, and because I was able to, because of course, with Google now you can travel with your all your files, and so I had my budget on there all the way from 2000. This one I think had 2014 up to now, and so we sat down and we wrote it out by hand first. And one of the things he was having difficulty with is trying to figure out how come he didn't have like any cash left over, because of course, everything's so much more expensive. It's the usual spiel, right? Everything is so much more expensive. And I can say back in my day, I remember when gasoline was 75 cents. 75 cents. Yes. So things are different these days, and I understand that. But if you can get a handle on how to spend your money appropriate, how and when to pay your bills appropriately, many times you are able to make it. I'm not saying that you have the money to go out and spend on a lavish dinner every week, go to the movies all the time and relax, because hey, we all want to do that, go get massages, things like that. But we're not there. Not yet. But we have finances that we can budget appropriately, in which we are able to sustain ourselves, right? And so that's what he was looking for. And so what we did was, he didn't have anything in writing. So he did everything on his credit card, and then he was also pulling out cash. And so what ends up happening, you're going to say, oh, that's what the problem is. But really, that wasn't the problem. It was where is your money going? Are you really understanding where it's going? And he's like, he maxes out his savings plan completely. He has a 401k plan, the Roth IRA, where he's putting money into it. So he's trying to do all of these right things from when you're young. So he's writing out his car note, his insurance. He's writing out how much he pays for food. He's writing out his credit card, and he uses his credit card a lot of times to pay for a lot of his things in order for him to get the points. So as we're going through it, and then every 2 weeks, where I asked him, I said, write down what you get in your bank account. Not what you think you get, but what's in your bank account. So, he didn't have the app. I had him pull up the app for his bank account. He downloaded that. And, but he did have his credit card, the app for his credit card. And we were able to go into there, and I said, what we're going to do is we're going to look at your last 3 bank statements. Excuse me, your credit card statements, and we're going to look through there and we're going to write down all the things that you were doing. And so he didn't put in there his car insurance that he was paying for. He didn't put in there how much gas. He guesstimated his gas, and it was far less. He was spending far more in gasoline per week, and then ultimately, of course, per month than he thought he was spending. Additionally, as we were speaking, he's like, I don't do anything extra. I don't really eat out. I really don't buy a lot of things. But I had to break it down because a lot of times, you youngins, I got to get technical. And being in the school system, I have to get technical. So I asked him, I said, hey, do you buy a shirt how often do you buy a shirt? He's like, oh, I buy a shirt like every month. And I go, what about pants? No, usually like every other month. So what about shoes? I get like a pair of shoes. I get a pair of shoes every month. And then sometimes I get like extra, smell goods, toiletries, to keep himself up, things like that. I said, okay, so if you buy a shirt every month, is that buying clothing every month? He said, yes. He was spending $250 a month on clothing. And he was spending $400 a month, not $200 a month, on eating out and having a good time with his friends. And there's nothing wrong with that. In addition to that, he didn't write in his car insurance. I think I mentioned that already. And he had, of course, like the Apple Pay. Is it Apple Pay? But anything like where you're listening to music, the streaming services. He had the Netflix, he had the Hulu, he had Disney Plus. He had a lot of extra things that were like $10 here, $15 here, $13 here, which added up to an additional $137 a month on top of his phone bill also, and he's paying for a new phone. And we were able to write everything down based upon going through his bank account as well as his bank cards. And it took a while, and we got it to the point where he was able to see where his money was going. And then after we did everything, he says, oh yeah, I play video games. I buy video games. And I said, well, how much is that? He said, it's like $60 a pop. I said, well, how often do you do it? He goes, I play every day. And he upgrades, right? Like what I had talked about before. But his games, he says, not that expensive, like $30, $40. So we look, they're like $60. And he was spending buying like 2 or 3 a month. And so, but that was his hobby, right? I'm not going to knock that, but his hobbies and those additional expenses and eating out, they were almost a full $1,000 a month right off the bat. And where he was trying to figure out where his money was going, we were able to do that. So I would tell you, look at your credit card statements for the last 3 months. And then you're going to add up all the different sections, your gas, when you eat out, when you buy clothes, everything, and put it into a spreadsheet. And you're going to add it all up together, each section, and you're going to take the average of it. So you may spend maybe $250 a month on gas. You may spend $100 on clothing. You may spend $200 for food to cook, and you may spend $300 eating out. Take the average of those 3 months, and that's going to give you an estimate of what you're actually spending. And you put that into your little Excel spreadsheet, or you write it down, and you will help figure out how much you are actually able to have every month. And the final thing I would say to you is, it doesn't matter if you're in the military or you're with a company, find out when you're paid. You can go online, and they should have a section in there that tells you what day your payment is going to fall on, and that's important. And you will be able to figure out also when to pay your bills on time. And don't forget to utilize bill pay, because you didn't know about that. Good luck.